Religious Jews versus the Zionist state. Zionism was born in direct rebellion against the Jewish traditions, the faith, the diaspora. From its inception, the Zionist movement was led by European secularists, many of whom were atheists, racial nationalists, or authoritarian socialists who despised Torah, rejected halakha, and viewed traditional Jewish communities as relics of weakness and shame. To them, the old Jews were backward, superstitious, impure. They wanted to kill the Jew of the past to invent the new Jew, European, militarized, nationalist, and obedient to the state. Religious Jews saw it coming. Torah scholars, rabbis, and devout Jewish communities across Europe and the Middle East rejected Zionism as heresy. Groups like Neturei Karta and leading Haredi authorities warned that the Zionist project was not a fulfillment of prophecy, but a violation of it. According to Jewish tradition, the return to Zion could not be forced by man, let alone through colonial conquest or blood nationalism. It was to be a divine act, not a European land grab dressed in biblical language. Neturei Karta, founded in the 1930s, emerged as a vocal and uncompromising opponent of the Zionist state. Its members refused to recognize Israel's legitimacy, calling it a rebellion against God and a desecration of Judaism. They held Torah processions in the streets, with faith and tradition. They met with Palestinians, denounced Israeli militarism, and declared openly that Zionism was a political ideology that had hijacked their religion and murdered its ethics. They were never alone. In the early 20th century, most, if not all, Orthodox rabbis condemned the Zionist movement. Prominent religious figures argued that Zionism was a form of idolatry, replacing divine covenant with racial identity and nationalist pride. They warned that the movement's leaders had no interest in preserving Judaism, only in weaponizing it to legitimize European imperial aims. The Zionists responded with contempt. They called religious Jews parasites, cowards, and degenerates. In Zionist schools, Torah learning was replaced with state doctrine. In immigrant camps, children were forcibly shaved, renamed, and re-educated. Religious practice was mocked and outright banned. European Zionists saw the traditional Jew as someone to erase, and erase them they did, from textbooks, from newsreels, from state archives. The deep and widespread religious opposition to Zionism was memory hold, rewritten as fringe or ignored altogether. In Western media, Jewishness became synonymous with the State of Israel, an erasure so total that Torah Jews who opposed the state were slandered as self-hating or not real Jews. The Zionist state monopolized identity and turned dissent into blasphemy. But the truth remains. Judaism was never Zionism. The two are not only distinct, they are opposites. One is a spiritual tradition rooted in ethics, diaspora, humility, and covenant with the divine. The other is a nationalist project rooted in blood mythology, European supremacy, and colonial control. The Jewish people weren't waiting for a state. They were waiting for peace. And the Zionist state did not bring peace, it brought the sword, then forced a flag into the hands of a people who never asked for it. Religious Jews who refused to kneel to this false messiah were punished, censored, and exiled from the story. But their resistance never disappeared. It lives on in Torah communities across the world who still say, not in our name. Not in the name of God. Not in the name of Judaism. And not in the name of those who were slaughtered by the same racist logic that Zionism and Nazism were birthed from.